Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Joe and welcome to a video about the Mayann update. And as I'm sure the vast majority of you are aware, the Mayann update trailer has been released. The Mayann Project SFM, made by the Winglet, of course, has officially been released. There was a big countdown for it, a lot of hype around it, and I must say, I personally feel like Winglet has done a great job. I really enjoyed the SFM thoroughly, and I just thought it was really well made. So, big props to Winglet on that one, definitely. But the main thing I was focusing on throughout was the new cosmetics. Obviously, you know, this is a trading orientated channel. I'm going to be focusing on the cosmetics, and that's exactly what I did. So I'm going to show you all the ones I picked up on and give you my opinions on them, maybe some speculation about them, so what kind of classes they'll be for, stuff like that, you know, just some speculation around these new cosmetics. And one thing I just want to stress, guys, just because I feel like a lot of people may misconstrue what I'm saying as sort of facts and that these cosmetics are definitely guaranteed to get in the game, is that there is no guarantee that these will be added. This is pure speculation. It's just I made the assumption that if these videos appeared in this sort of official trailer for the Mayann update, then it's kind of safe to assume that if these cosmetics are in the trailer, then they're probably going to be a part of the update as well, and added to some sort of Mayann themed case. And once again, this is not guaranteed to be true. This is just purely my thoughts and speculation on this, so it's no guarantee. They may not even add any cosmetics whatsoever. But this is just what I'd like to see in the game and sort of what I've guessed is going to be added to the game. So don't take anything I say as fact, just remember this is my opinions and what I think is going to happen. So just remember that before getting all excited about seeing these cosmetics in game, when it's really not guaranteed that they're going to be added whatsoever. It's pure speculation. So guys, without further ado, let's take a look at this first screenshot. So this first screenshot is of the entire blue team after the plane crashes. And let's just take a look at the classes individually. So we can see straight away the scout. Let's take a look at the scout. He's wearing this sort of camouflage sort of jacket, this backwards ball cap kind of style thing, with a pair of headphones and what seems to be goggles on top, and these camouflage bottoms as well. So I really like the camouflage track jacket kind of thing the scout's wearing. Probably going to be, I'd say, assassin grade if it's released in sort of tiers like that, but it definitely looks really nice. I really like the sort of turned up collar and the rolled up sleeves, and overall the general design of it, it's a fairly noticeable one. The camo bottoms not so much. There's just a small camo printing on the top that's barely even noticeable unless you're really looking for it. But yeah, that's a scout sort of covered. Onto the engineer now. The engineer is of course leading the pack, I should say, in this screenshot, and he's wearing this sort of generic sort of explorer hat, like a kind of Indiana Jones style thing, and this sort of jacket with what seems to be like just a normal sort of waist bag around it. And you know, it's nothing crazy. None of the cosmetics the blue team are wearing are sort of overly great, but nonetheless, like, it looks pretty cool. I like how the undershirt looks, along with the sort of jacket wrapped around it. I do quite like that a lot. Onto the spy now. He's just sort of wearing, it kind of reminds me of the Professionals Panama for the sniper. Let me know what you guys think of that. It's this kind of sort of I would just describe it as just a regular sort of brimmed hat that goes around and nothing else. The pyro is wearing quite a more eccentric hat. It's this sort of wraith of flowers and leaves wrapped around its head. Like, I'd say that's one of the more noticeable ones, but again, I wouldn't expect this to sort of be too high tier. I wouldn't expect any of these cosmetics to be too high tier. And moving on to the back of the pack now, we've got the heavy, who's got this sort of it's kind of like the tourist hat that was, or the tourist cosmetic that was released for him a couple updates ago. But of course, the main difference being there's not a camera wrapped around him. It's just this sort of button-up shirt, much like the heavy tourism cosmetic, but there's a sort of jacket around it as well. Like, it looks a lot more informal, I guess you could say, than the heavy tourism. It looks nice. And onto the sniper now. Again, a very sort of simple hat. Kind of reminds me of the shooter's solar toppy in a way. Very old school sniper hat. I can't imagine that one being sort of too high tier at all. But nonetheless, they're pretty nice themed cosmetics. And now getting on to the proper ones. So, over to the red team. And we can see, I imagine this would be where the cosmetics sort of start off getting purple, pink, and then eventually elite grade. As we can see here, the spy is wearing I'm not too sure how I'd describe that hat, but one thing I'd like to note about the spy's appearance in this is that he's actually got a scratched eye, and he's missing a pupil on one side. The way I timed the screenshot, it looks like he's missing a pupil on both, but it's only on one side. He's kind of, it's meant to look like, I don't know, he's been scratched in the wilderness or something like that. And of course, he's got a mustache as well, and these sort of explorer's jacket, I'd say. It's got like a sort of straps around it, etc. And then moving on to the sniper, he's actually wearing what kind of looks like the Charmer's chapeau. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the spy hat. The Charmer's chapeau, it's sort of like, in unusual form, it's like a mid to high tier spy hat, where the sort of one side of it's turned up and the other side's just slumped down, and that's kind of what it looks like on a sniper. And I must say, it does look nice. So if I'm sure it will be its individual hat release, but if it's not, it could be a hint that there could be some class changes for certain hats coming out soon. But that's completely speculation. I'm just saying it's probably its own hat, but on the odd chance that it's not, the sniper is wearing a hat that looks very similar to the Charmer's chapeau. And moving on to the heavy, and this is where we see one of two new weapon skins or weapons that have been put in the game. So as we can see in this screenshot, the heavy is wearing these sort of gold bracelets, I guess you could call them, with jewels on each side, etc. Very sort of fancy and royal looking cosmetic, and you can't see it too prominently, but around the back he's also got this like tribal skirt kind of thing. I'll get another screenshot now on the screen for you. He's kind of wearing this sort of tribal skirt, and it's very nice. Like it does sort of suit him pretty well, I'd say. But nonetheless, like, let's take a look at this new minigun skin. So it's got the sort of like the jungle theme. Obviously it looks like it's made out of stone. It does sort of look very like an artifact almost, and it's got that it kind of reminds me, if any of you British people watched that TV show Jungle Run back in the day, it kind of gives me that kind of vibe of like a monkey's face graved in stone. But nonetheless, it's really cool. I really like the sort of aesthetic they've gone for here. And then a few seconds on in the scene, as you can see, literally about 8 seconds after, the medic comes running out wearing this sort of ancient Egyptian pharaoh type hat. It's a skull wearing a headdress, essentially, is what it is. But the headdress is decorated in such a way that makes it almost look royal. The skull has got face paint going across the cheeks and up through the nose. It looks nice, I must say. It does strike me as more of a Halloween themed cosmetic. If it is a Halloween themed cosmetic that's in the game already, then I'm mistaken, but sort of nonetheless, nice looking cosmetic there. And this is where we go on to what I believe will be the first elite grade cosmetic in this update. And if it is equipable by all class, then great. I can't imagine it being a demo exclusive, but it's this sort of mask. And as you can see now, it's got these sort of big canine teeth sticking out through the bottom and the top, and then the top of it has got like small holes engraved for the eye of the demo, and this sort of big nose, and these big features like the eyebrows and the hair is all sort of embossed kind of and stuck up on the mask. I believe this will be very high tier if it is released. It does strike me as kind of a high tier one, and if it is a mask, could be a potential misc. And I know there's a lot of speculation about miscs being discontinued, but it could be a misc, and that's what I'm suggesting. That's what I'd love to see. I'd love to see Valve bring sort of unusual miscs back into the game, and this is a perfect opportunity to do so. Just release a ton of cosmetics into the game and make a couple unusual miscs in there as well, because it's been a while since we've seen some new ones. So onto this last screenshot, and this is a couple soldier cosmetics actually, it's more than one. And it's these, you can't really see it too well in this screenshot, but his lower arm, like below, like just above the elbow and below, is sort of wrapped up in bandages, coordinated to his team colour. So what I'm assuming is the bandages would be red if he was on red team, etc. And then the top of his shirt is actually completely ripped off, exposing the biceps and the shoulder region. He's also got a turned up collar, and one interesting thing to note is he's actually got face paint. So could there be a face paint cosmetic? Let me know your thoughts down below, guys. I think it would be so amazing to release these sort of face paint cosmetics that could be put on any scout, or any class, sorry, not any scout, and paintable as well. You could just imagine the Lime scout sets running around with Lime face paint on. I just think that could be great to add to the game. And that's just about it for my screenshots, guys. So the link to Winglet's SFM, which, I mean, I said it earlier, but I'm sure the vast majority of you have seen it already. But if on the off chance that you haven't, it will be linked down in the description description below. And that is just about it, guys. So thank you all so much for watching. Do subscribe for more Mayann update related content. I will be sure to pump some out as soon as stuff gets released. And let me know your thoughts on the Mayann update down below. What would you like to see? What new cosmetics would you like to see? Etc. And that is just about it, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and peace.